Hi, Graham Anderson here. I wrote a quote this week and I wanted to explain it to you, just give a wee breakdown on it. The quote is as follows. It's a beautiful moment when you realise nothing can stop you doing what you want, no matter what obstacles are in your way. I was editing my book, The Best Seat in the Universe, this week when that quote actually was in the text. And I thought it was quite a useful thing to put out for people. So what does that mean? It's a beautiful moment when you realise nothing can stop you. Very often, things are quite scary in life. Trying new things, especially whether it's a new job, going to a new house, trying a new project, a new hobby, going to meet new people. All of these things can be quite scary. A lot of people can feel intimidated by this. And that's okay. It's a fear. It's outside your normal comfort zone, and obviously, as soon as you go out of what your comfort zone is, it's uncomfortable. But uncomfortable is okay in life, as long as you can then learn once you've went to do that new thing or whatever, that after a while you start becoming comfortable. So every time you get into a new situation, a new area of life, it will be uncomfortable for a small while. And so you have to weigh that up, the pros and cons of if you don't make yourself uncomfortable any time, you'll sit in the same position all your life and you'll be frightened to try things. So after I'd written that quote, somebody made a comment on it to me, and it made me look at it again, and I started to look at the opposite of it, which I like to do. I like to look at the opposite, and so I wrote a second quote. And the second quote is this: those painful moments when your mind stops you from doing what you want, how hard is it to find the strength to challenge those obstacles? So it's just the opposite of the first quote. But the painful moment is a lot of people to say to themselves, I can't do that. I don't want to do it. I'm frightened. They get anxious. Their palms are sweating, the hair standing up in the back of their neck. They really, really are fearful of trying something new. They stay in a job they don't like because they're more frightened of the alternative to try and go for another job. They're frightened if they don't have their mortgage payment that month. And so they fear going for the new job. And they may be perfectly competent at that new job or perfectly competent at whatever else they want to do. However, fear takes over. This is one of the worst things that can happen for people, is there's so many talented people around, and I mean really talented, and I've probably said this before, but they don't have enough confidence in themselves to actually go forward and decide, I'm quitting that job, I'm going for a better job, or I'm going to join this group or club, or I'm going to stand up and talk at presentations, or I'm going to put myself forward for X, Y, or Z. It's the fear of failure, the fear of other people laughing at you, and so many people worry about what other people think about them. And when I talk to people about different things that they fear, I keep saying to them, stop worrying about what other people think. Who cares? If you think back 5 years ago, do you know the people that were in your life 5 years ago? How many people did you think about then that you were frightened of failing in front, and they've moved on or they're away? So anytime you want to try something new, don't worry about whether people are going to laugh at you or whatever, because they're going to do that anyway. So don't let it stop you. My aim in life is to try and help people to say, you know what, I'm good at this, I'm worthy, I'm going to do it. And you know what happens if you fail? So what? So some of the things I'd like you to think about is how do you move on if you are frightened of doing things? How do you surround yourself with the right people so that you're not dealing with people that are laughing at you or bringing you down? You know what? In life, it's too short. 50 years is too short. 70 years is too short to be putting up with nonsense from other people. You have to determine your own future yourself. You have to decide, here's what I'm going to do in life. This is my life. And sometimes that means you have to build into the equation of not being in other people's presence at time, and to make sure that you move on. There's a great old saying, and it says, I remember reading this in a fridge magnet once, and I just loved it. And it said, you can't soar like an eagle when you fly with turkeys. And what that means is, you may be in an area where you've developed beyond the people round about you, and you actually think bigger, or you think in another way, and you want to try something. And if you develop beyond the group that's round about you, you can no longer be there. You know, it's like the boy who lives in the tenements, and then he grows up, and then he goes out to the world and he becomes a successful businessman. It's very hard for him to go back and live in the tenements because the mindset is different. What I'd like to say is try not to fear anything. Try just realise I'm going to be uncomfortable for a while. Uncomfortable is okay. You can do that, okay? And not to worry about what other people think. And if you can do that, you will progress, and then you know you have to go through the uncomfort again to progress again. And do again and again until you really get what you want from life. You're better to try. And you know, yes, you might fail, but it doesn't matter if you fail. Failing is just a step towards success. You know, every time you do something, it doesn't work, you think, what happened there? And then you look at it again and you think, you know, and with everything, before you get success, you have to try something. And if it fails, you have to regroup, rethink it, and you have to try it again. And if it still doesn't work, you've got to look at it and say, am I wasting my time here? Am I never going to get this right, or should I try again? And there's people who have tried things 30, 100 times before they got it right. And once they got it right, that was a success forever. You know, I'm always reminded of a couple of things. You know, there's a spray can of oil you get called WD-40. And it's very simple. This WD-40 you spray on hinges and inside locks, etc. But the guy who invented it couldn't get it right. He couldn't get it to work. And so the WD-40 means it took him 40 times to get it right. And that's what he called the product, WD-40. And so whatever you can do in life, and I can tell you this as well, once you find your success, you won't be satisfied. You think, wonder what I can do next, because it will be addictive to you. And you'll want to say, I want to do something else. If I can help people in this way, or help myself, or help my family, what can I do next? What's the next stage? And that's when, and as soon as you go to do the next stage, you'll get a wee bit of fear again, bit of anxiety. You'll say, don't know if I can do this, don't know if I can do this. But in every time that you go forward and do another one, you then lose the fear of the public speaking. You lose the fear of presenting in front of boards and committees. You lose the fear of submitting your work that you've created. You lose the fear of trying new things, because every time you know, doesn't work, doesn't matter. Next, please. And that's a great thing. I've always lived by the word next. I try stuff in business, and I mean, I've got an internet business. I've been doing this 25 years of actually providing internet strategies, etc., for companies, and building websites and internet marketing for people. We have tried hundreds of new things, and amongst that, hundreds. We have thrown a lot of money at different things to try them, and they've failed. But you know what we say every time? Next. Because so what? It fails. We're looking for the one that works and the one that gives us the rewards. So in closing, I'd like to thank everyone for listening. If you know anyone you think this could help, please just share it. And I look forward to talking to you in the next video. Thank you.